الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما صدق الله العظيم وقال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال بني الإسلام على 5 شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله وإقامة الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وحج البيت وصوم رمضان صدق الرسول أما بعد. Indeed, we give praise and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has guided us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has created the mankind and has given guidance Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of merciful, forgiving. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who wants the best from us. In that He had sent Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to teach us, to show us the way of those who will be successful, those who will have the good of this life and will have the good of the life hereafter and will be saved from the fire. As to our topic today, inshallah. Today, I wish to remind myself and you about a beautiful, wonderful gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, and that is our intellect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqal insan, Allamahu al-Bayan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught the mankind. He has given the understanding of things to the mankind. So we will look at a story that happened in the time of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when the atmosphere of the environment were more or less similar, like the one that we face in the world today. What is the what is the atmosphere in our world today? The atmosphere is that everything is being dominated by the quest or the effort for dunya, more or less. And there are still a few people who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we remind ourselves to fear Allah and to submit ourselves that we should die submitting to Allah. And there are people who are indulging in whatever whims and fancy that they feel like, that is presented to them. And such from the history of what was happening in Makkah at the time of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and people were worshipping Allah, and very few, but they were making the pilgrimage. They were going to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were doing the tawaf with whatever they had in their heart. So there was confusion and corruption in the actions of the people of that time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to teach the people, to remind the people to fear Allah, to use their intelligence, their intellect. And so we will take from one of the stories, the story of a person by the name of At-Tufail. At-Tufail ibn Amr al-Daws. Tufail was a leader of his tribe. He was living out of Mecca, their tribe, the Daws. And he came to Mecca at that time when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was delivering the message. And at that time there was conflict in that the leaders of Quraysh did not want this message to be spread. They did not want people to listen to this message. The message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the message of Quran, the message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have sent with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same message we have today. And Tufail came to Makkah, and the first surprise he got was that the people of Makkah, the leaders, they met him outside of Makkah. And they gave him a warning. They told him, listen, there is a madman amongst us. There is a person, his name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And do not listen to him. Because if you listen to him, he will work his sorcery upon you. He would work his magic upon you. And what you hear would not be able to make you your normal self. So they warned him against the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just to move on. But Tufail, he went to his business. He made his tawaf. He was around the Kaaba. And then something struck him. He said to himself that Tufail, you are an intelligent person in that you are the leader of your tribe. More so, you have an understanding to understand and to decide what is right from what is wrong, what is truth from what is falsehood. He brought an argument to himself about his ability with that which he was given. He was among the few of the people who reflected. So he said, based on the reports, why shouldn't I listen? Why shouldn't I listen to what this man has to say? And based on the narration, they said the tribes, the leaders of the Quraysh of Makkah had told him to stop his ears, to block his ears. So he had put blockage, whether cotton wool or cloth, whatever he had. So he decided, listen, I'm going to listen and I'm going to decide for myself. My dear brothers and sisters, this is a very important point I want to emphasize for myself and you. It is very important for us to stop and think based on what Allah has blessed us with of intellect in any matter that might confront us. And in every matter that might confront us. And we know as believers, as Muslims, we guide ourselves based on the Quran and the Sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this is very important. And as the story goes, Tufail ibn Amr of Firdaus, he decided to listen. So he removed the blockage. He listened to what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was reciting from the Quran, and he was amazed. And he accepted Islam. The point of this story at this time is what I emphasized just now, and I want to repeat and ask the question, how many of us take time to use the intelligence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and to ponder and reflect on what is said to us? On the contrary, how many people are just blind followers of anything? Maybe like we see among the politicians, if you belong to a political party, whatever the party leader says, you go by it, whether it makes sense or does not make sense, whether it's truth or lie, or so many different situations. We have families that do injustice to people where their members will just back or side with a family who is doing wrong just because they are families, and we have our own selves to deal with every day. So the story of Tufail ibn Amr, the Daws, is that he stopped, he listened, and the consequence of this is very severe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us from a surah. I'll take just one verse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us on the day of judgment. And I want to read to you verses that you are well aware. This is Surah Al-Mulk. We'll look at verses 8, 9, and 10 quickly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the people who will be thrown into the fire, almost bursting with fury, every time a group will ask, as they are cast into the fire, the people, the keepers of hell, the people, they will ask them, Alam ya'atikum nadhir? Did no warner come to you? Did nobody come and tell you about this situation? And their answer is amazing. They will say, قَالُوا بَلْ قَدْ جَاءَنَا نَذِيرٌ فَكَذَّبْنَا وَقُلْنَا مَا نَزَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ كَبِيرٍ. Yes, indeed, a warner did come to us, but we rejected him and said, Allah never sent any message. You are in nothing but error. They accuse their messenger. And then they will say, وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. This is what they will say. Had we but listened or use our intelligence, we should not now be among the companions of the fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recorded this statement for us. And it is a very serious statement. My dear brothers and sisters, each and every one of us have got to stop and look at what we are listening to and decide for ourselves, based on the guidance of Allah and His Messenger, if we are on the Siratul Mustaqim or if we are not on the Siratul Mustaqim. If we are still making tawaf like Tufail was before accepting Islam, but inside of that house is full of idols. Each and every one of us have got to stop and reflect. How many idols we have in our heart? How many idols are drawing us away? Listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us about. And this is from chapter 82. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. When the sky is cleft asunder and the stars are scattered and the oceans are suffering to burst forth, this is a time that is coming. This is a matter of time. Here, our brother just reminded us that certain activities were cancelled because of the condition, the weather condition. And certain activities for tonight is also cancelled. And each and every one of us and our families are taking precaution for tonight because it's going to be bitter cold. And we are expecting a storm to follow. And each and every one of us are putting out. We are putting away. We are relieving ourselves from norms because we are preparing for this that is coming and it will harm us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, brothers and sisters, and it is something that we should reflect on. We should reflect on because you know why? Every day we are losing 24 hours of our time. Every day. And that time that has been written for us that we have, when it will end, we do not know. And when is the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has reminded us, and every Jumu'ah this reminder is going all over, that all you who believe, all you people who know the truth of tomorrow, do not die. Fear Allah and do not die except in submission. Do not die except in submission. And that is why I'm asking myself and you to reflect on the preference that Tufail had given to the message. The preference that he had given. Am I going to listen? What am I going to listen to? He was the leader of his tribe. He was an intelligent man. He had wealth. He had authority. But yet, there was something that he should listen to. Allah's mercy and guidance came to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His story is beautiful as it continues, but for our argument today, our reflection today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us when the sky is cleft asunder, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انْفَطَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْكَوَاكِبُ انْتَثَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ فُجِّرَتْ. And when the oceans, look at this verse, and when the oceans are suffered to burst forth, what is it that the environmentalists are telling us today? What are they telling us? They're telling us that the oceans are rising. The oceans are changing in terms of the amount of water that is increasing more so. If certain things is not done, certain what you might call actions are not taken, then we are going to have a tremendous problem in terms of flooding. So the oceans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, it is coming. It is going to overflow its banks. It's going to burst through. What is going to happen? And when the graves are torn upside down, so this is our tomorrow, my dear brothers and sisters. This is our tomorrow that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us about. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, أَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ وَأَخَّرَتْ. Then shall each soul know what it sent forth and what it kept back. That is the decision. That's the point of our using our intellect to make sure that our preferences are in order. Our priorities are in order. Because the fear is not for the cold of tonight. The fear is not for the storm of tomorrow. But that time when there will be no one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. After reminding us to be mindful of our preference of what we are doing for our God, our tomorrow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us, and be not like those who forget Allah. Lest He cause you to forget your own selves. This is the decision, the people who were thrown into the fire, who will be thrown into the fire. That is what they said. Had we not listened? The keepers of hell are asking them, what happened to you people? Didn't no person come and remind you? What were your preferences in life? And he said, had we but listened. Listen here means not just sitting and acknowledging and accepting, but making decisions based on what we hear. Tufail ibn Amr, when he went back home, his father greeted him and he said to his father, stay with me. I'm different now. You're not of me. I have nothing to do. He said, what has happened? He said, I'm a Muslim and you're not. Therefore, stay with me. Same question to his wife and the few who accepted him. And there was one person who came back with him to the Prophet ﷺ, and we know him as Abu Hurairah. He's from that tribe of Daws. He was a young man. My dear brothers and sisters, the decision has to be made and the preference has to be given. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها. The day is coming. And what we will say, ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين. That reality, but the mutual rivalry in acquiring the comforts and the good things of this world is distracting us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us. This is your nature, O mankind. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he says? He said, if the son of Adam is given one valley full of gold or wealth, he wants a second. This is normal. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent him to remind us of this day, to remind us, use your intelligence. What is it that you are giving? What is it that you are bargaining? Your time. The time you have, you are making business with it. Is it your business that you are preparing for the day when you will leave this world for the grave and the Qiyamah and the decision will be made? Or is this day only for dunya, 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 in preference of akhirah? So therefore our dunya acquirement, our achievement of dunya is as huge as you can think about. And we are happy and proud of it. But what about what we have set forth for our akhirah? Brothers and sisters, this is a reminder to myself seriously, especially this time when we have been bombarded day and night with the dunya. What's the American dream? Does it have anything there to say, fear Allah? Does it have anything there to say, obey Allah and His Messenger? No, that dream doesn't have that. It's a different kind of situation. And we have put ourselves to this challenge to live in such an environment. For the matter, no part of the world today is free. Unfortunately, we are sad when we hear what is happening in Saudi Arabia, where we thought there was some refuge, but everybody is being challenged. Then I close. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal insan, O mankind, Ya ayyuhal insanu ma gharraka bi rabbika al-kareem. O mankind, what has seduced you? What has taken you away from your Lord? Bi rabbika al-kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what has seduced you from the Lord the Beneficent? الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي سورة ما شاء ركبك. And the beauty of what He has given as a reminder, He said, He who has created you and given you such beautiful shapes, and whatever He has bestowed upon you, He has given you a just balance. Just reflect on ourselves as to how our body is shaped, how everything that we have, the functions, from the time we begin to sip water, to drink milk, to eat food, without thinking, the machinery inside our system is working and functioning. From a drop of fluid into an adult man, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, be mindful, O mankind, O man, what has seduced you from thy Lord most beneficent, who created you, fashioned you, and gave you a just bias in whatever form He wills. He put you together. My dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect. Let us use our intelligence, that which Allah has given us, and let us use the yardstick of Quran and Sunnah to judge our actions, our endeavors, what we are after. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this easy for me and you to hear and to obey, and that Allah forgive us and accept us. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fi Quran al-Azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum ajma'in innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulil Kareem. Ma ba'd. I will leave as a reminder today, inshallah, a narration from Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, who is the Sadaqah Jariyah of At-Tufail ibn Amr, because he brought him to the Prophet ﷺ. He accepted the message, and we depend on him for all the many, many good news that he has recorded and left for us. And he said, the Rasul ﷺ said, who will learn some words from me and act upon them or teach them to others? Who will act upon them and teach them to others who will act upon them? Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala says, he will. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his hand and said, contain 5 things. He said, avoid the forbidden, avoid the haram, and you will become the greatest worshipper. Be satisfied with what Allah has given you, and you will become the richest of men. Be kind to your neighbor, and you will become a true believer. Choose for others what you like for yourselves, and you will be a Muslim. And do not laugh excessively. Excuse me. For excessive laughter deadens the heart. My dear brothers and sisters, let us ask Allah as He had taught us through His Nabi to ask. ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم ودعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأعلى وأعز وجل وحمد وأتم وأكبر. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله وأقيموا الصلاة.